Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Jamie Milne here from Jamie Milne Training. We have a dream to create a community full of happy and healthy and knowledgeable people. And today I am proud, privileged and pumped to be hanging out with his official name is Dr. Peter Fowler and his lovely wife Amanda Fowler, but I've gotten to know him as the Rabbi of Recovery, the Sultan of Sleep. Pete and Amanda have the recovery room here on the Sunshine Coast. It is a groundbreaking Sunshine Coast first. I absolutely love it, and I love the fact that I get to hang out with these awesome people for a little bit here, chatting about all things sleep, recovery, stress management. Pete, Amanda, how are you, man?
We're good, yeah. Been busy, but
a few months.
I have to apologise up front if there's a few brain farts during this, but yeah. We should be good.
Yeah, you'll be absolutely fine. Trust me, mate, if you've seen any of my shit, you'll be totally fine. Thank you so much for coming along.
Thanks for having us.
I am officially a raving and raging fan of the recovery room. I thought when they first opened, I initially thought that is a really good idea, and we all need a space like the recovery room. That's what I really thought, and I thought especially for the ageing athlete, obviously not myself, but some of these other old ones that have been getting around Sunshine Coast, they need that too. They need the recovery, so I thought it was a really, really good idea. And then when I checked it out, I kind of thought, okay, man, this all makes sense. This is cool. And as you know, I've been going now for a couple of months. Man, I would have to say it is the duck's nuts. I reckon it is the missing part of this little masculine mosaic, and I've got it pieced all together now, and I really, really and truly believe in it. I'm not paid or encouraged to say that, but I honestly believe it's really good. I just love it.
Better than surfing today, hey?
I did. I had a confession to make. Hopefully my mate Rob, who surfs with me, is not watching this, but I passed up going and pinching some waves, hopping in the green room, and I exchanged it for the recovery room. So it was, yeah, I can't believe it. I was still like, all those waves are going unridden, and I'm in the infrared sauna, just with the Converse on too. Guys, why? So you're massively formally educated. We can talk a little bit about that in a second. Why the recovery room, guys? Why the Sunshine Coast? They're at the Sports Hub. That's the latest and greatest on the coast. Yeah, why?
You can kick
I'll
off.
go that one. It's a question I can answer.
Yeah.
You're usually the one that does most of the speaking anyway.
Yeah, that's an early brain fart, by the way. That's an early brain fart. Nice little cop out.
Yeah.
Nice little, just deflect that over to the wife.
Handball.
Yeah.
So basically we just moved back to the Sunshine Coast about a year and a half ago, and we love the area. We've never lived here, either of us, before. I think we've had 9 moves in 8 years, and we're ready to settle. So we moved back from the Middle East, where we were for Pete's work.
Guitar.
Yeah. In Qatar, where Pete was working at the
Guitar.
Guitar.
Drums. We were in drums. And
because Pete's worked in like applied sports science, working with team sports and athletes. He's worked in research and academia, and he really loves the area of recovery and big believer in like injury prevention. And so this was the perfect way that he got to work with both athletes, general public, everybody. And it's a combination of his applied skills and his research. So he gets to do both. Wow. And I enjoy bossing him around.
What the?
So it's a win-win for everybody.
It's totally fun. I love my life. This is the best life. And mate, I went down the rabbit hole and researched a fair bit about you. Man, I'm totally bloated. I've seen a couple of saucy photos, I might add. I don't know where those copped
Where
up
were
from.
you?
No, near what site? No, Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. So I did my undergraduate and masters back in the UK in sports science and exercise physiology, and then 18 months at Tottenham Hotspur, which was definitely an eye opener for a newbie out of uni. But yeah, I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into one sport, so took the opportunity to come over to Australia in the better weather.
Yeah, because it seems really diverse, like AFL, rugby league. You know, you've really,
And the women, of course.
Yeah. Wow. I can understand that.
So I spent after that I spent a year at the AIS. So I worked across a range of sports, individual sports, team sports, and that was a really good experience because that rather than just being football or soccer for our Australian viewers, gave me a breadth of experience that has really helped. Yeah.
Man, that's massive. So you'd have a huge understanding of athleticism, really, because there's a lot of diverse sports there, and of course on the coast people being so active and there's so much going on. Like I said, I honestly believe you guys came into the space in perfect timing. You're awesome people. The facility is incredible. So before I start giving them major plugs, they've got the Normatec compression leggings. They've got the compression arm gear that's on its way. The infrared saunas, hot and cold water therapy, all the bells and whistles. It really is an awesome space. It's just absolutely solid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If you're on the coast and you haven't been down there yet, I know that they've got a Bring a Friend Friday. Do you guys offer like a trial or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I guess touching on what Amanda said then, like our main motivation was obviously having worked in elite sport and seeing the facilities that elite athletes get access to.
Yeah.
We wanted to bring those kind of facilities to because I think the general public could massively benefit from those kind of facilities as well. So that was one of the other sort of drivers behind it.
Yeah.
Sorry, should I brain fart? What was your question again?
No, I was just totally fluffing up your curtains, mate. I was just over here with the grandma's drapes, just giving it that. No. Look, I was just. You were sounding really good too. Cut! Taxi! No, I was just talking about some of the gear that you were having there, and you said that you've worked, as I know and as now the general public know, you guys have been involved with elite sports teams and stuff like that, and you identified that the general public, the man and lady on the street, old Mary and Brett, they'd love a little dip in the cold pool, or maybe not love, but they get used to it. They get used to it, yeah. So to be able to give people exposure to that is really incredible, because like you said, it is limited to elite top tier athletes, and for us normal people, we can get the benefits of your wisdom, your mastery, your knowledge, great service, and great facilities and stuff like that. It's absolutely awesome. So a little bit about your genre, your expertise and stuff like that. So so sleep is a big topic, man, and I defend my sleep mercilessly. Like, I cut away 99% of social outings for a good night's sleep. Just love it. I remember, just a quick story, I try not to make it all about myself, but when I first come out of the military, I was in the military for a while and I had really fucking bad insomnia, and I think a lot of that was caffeine and shift work, working through the middle of the night like a lot of shift workers. And I remember one time I just came to Australia and I'd had about 3 days of literally no sleep, no alcohol or drugs related or involved, just proper good old fashioned. And I was really peaking out, and it was coming into the 4th day and I thought, I can't go to work, I'm fucking losing my mind. And so I went to the doctor. Doctor was a young guy, and I literally was trying to hold back the tears and went in there and I just have to sleep, man. Like, I'm sounding like a real handbag here, but I was losing my shit. And I remember just saying to him, can I please just have some sleeping pills or something? I just need to get a good night's sleep because I've got to go to work, and money was tight and I was peaking out. And I remember him like talking to me real calmly, and he said, I can give you some pills and you'll go to sleep. But he said, you're not going to be rested. He said, you need to just slow down a little bit. Anyway, short of the long, he went on about a night routine, and in the very short story, he just said, you need to treat yourself like a baby. He said, what do you do for your kids? You're watered, fed, read a book, chill out, no big bright lights, all this type of stuff. So, and he was right. And he even said to me, it's not going to happen tonight, probably won't happen tomorrow night, but the next night it's going to get better and better and better and better. After 3 or 4 days of no sleep, that's not what you want to hear. But you don't want the drugs. Yeah. But no, it was, and it did work. But
Slap him and leave.
yeah. But and I never forgot that. Don't get it right all the time, but it certainly worked for me. I would love to hear what the Sultan of Sleep has to say. The 101.
There's a lot of things to unpack within that short story right there.
Yeah, oh, sorry. And it was a tangled tapestry of tales.
Yeah. The first one is probably like a stat you probably enjoy. So 0 sleep and no sleep is basically has the same impact on your mental performance as 10 standard drinks. So no wonder you were suffering.
Oh, that's hectic.
Just one night.
That's just one night, so 3 nights in a row.
Oh.
The second thing is that's actually quite refreshing that you went to a doctor and drugs was not the first.
Yeah.
Or he kind of tried to steer you away from that.
Yeah, totally did. I actually didn't go away with any drugs.
Yeah,
He's like, no.
Because there's some evidence that suggests that drugs are usually the number one for treating. Yeah. The problem with sleeping pills is that though they might help you fall asleep a little bit faster, you don't get your sleep is not as refreshing.
Yeah, gotcha. Which I think is what he said. Yeah, something along those lines.
So it's a bit fragmented. You won't wake up feeling as refreshed. If they're real strong ones, then you're going to get some potential hangover side effects. With the sleep education and consulting and monitoring that we do at the recovery room, we're kind of like a behavioural intervention first approach.
Love that.
Three real keys for sleep. You kind of sort of touched on them there, like treat yourself like a baby. So routine. Yeah. Having some sort of wind down routine, preparing your body for sleep. 2, consistency. So making sure bed and wake times are within the same 1 hour window each night. Yeah. And then 3, your sleep environment.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They're your keys.
That's awesome. I'm only just.
Are you bored already?
Yeah, no.
I was like, why are you giggling?
Because my cheeky little brain is like, I've got something to say, but I don't know if I know Pete well enough yet to start to. No. So okay, that makes sense. So having that nice routine, your environment, things like that. So roughly in a time frame, like I am obviously not a specialist at all. Just have a rough overview and obviously my own perception on sleep. So I definitely get asked quite regularly. So I would say, I'm just throwing a statistic out of my backside here, but I don't know. There would be, out of 10 people, a third that sleep would be an issue. So as a personal trainer, people will come in and do a quick overview, have a chat, have a consult, and like I said, like about a third, 3 out of 10 people would be like, I struggle with sleep, I'm so stressed because of X, Y, Z, and I've always just offhandedly said, my little insomnia story, the doctor, and I give it about a 90-minute runway going to sleep. So dim the lights in the house and a little bit of music, little sneaky chamomile tea, nice little shower. Bit of Barry White, just a bit of Walrus of Love, and all that type of stuff. Read a few pages of a book, nothing too serious, just to calm the farm, and then I'm away. Like, what do you think, Pete? Like, I know it's so hard because everybody would be so different. 90 minutes, a bit excessive?
90 minutes is very good.
Oh, it is good.
That's very disciplined.
Oh wow.
90 minutes.
Yeah. If I can hear that.
Pat on the back there.
Don't mind if I do, just remember.
Yeah, you're right. It's very individual. Like, for example, if you currently had no bedtime routine, then we just slowly build you up. So start with 15 minutes.
Yep.
Looking to build up to minimum 30 minutes. Yeah. Ideally an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Particularly with the sort of the 2 things you really want to do is reduce light exposure.
Yeah. You mean like?
Oh, both. Yeah. So bright indoor lights. So have dimming the lights in the house.
Yep.
light on your phone.
Yeah.
It's not to say you can't use your phone. There's technology now you can reduce the negative effects of the blue light.
Yeah.
And then the second one is switching the brain off, so doing relaxing activities rather than bashing out emails or whatever else you do.
Yeah. Could be kids watching this podcast.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't mention those things.
So so in terms of recovery, so I never really did anything for recovery prior to coming in, well, surfing, but sometimes that could be quite strenuous. What does the rabbi, I don't know what a female version of a rabbi, can you have a female rabbi? Oh, thank you.
That's okay.
The rabbis, the rabbis of recovery. What do you got? This is a bit of an offhanded question because you've obviously got your wee one, children, the business. What do you guys do for recovery? And what?
Well, even though we get our daughter's got a really strong bedtime routine, which Pete was in charge of from a very, very young age.
Sarge.
In charge, yeah. In charge. So she goes down really easily. So we basically follow after her, and once she's down in bed about 7:30, all our lights go down at night. And we've currently got Pete's parents staying with us, and they're wondering
Let's get it on.
Get everything up.
We're all sensitive people. Let's get it on.
Yeah. So it's darker now. Like, we dim the lights, and we don't really watch any TV because we're boring.
Yeah, I don't have a TV either. Can't do it.
No, read, don't we? And that's about.
Talk about life. Yeah.
Talk about our feelings.
Talk about our feelings.
Talk about our feelings.
Whatever happens.
So grateful today. It's just got this attitude of gratitude. Small business owners said that
exactly.
never.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh wow.
Talk about all our free time we have.
Yeah. I love it how we could.
Ourselves to sleep.
I think about Point Cartwright, but I can never get there.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What was the other thing I was going to ask? So, what's a couple of tips? Like, I often wonder about this. We hear about breathing techniques and all that type of stuff. So stress is a massive, it's like an epidemic. You know, we're all stressed, we're all anxious. Everything's done with intensity. Like, what are a couple of little tips? Like, for people watching this that are stressed off their tits, up to the eyeballs, they don't know whether they're coming or going, the who's who in the zoo, too stressed out. What's the Sultan of Sleep's tip?
Number one, come to the recovery room in the evening. We close at 7 o'clock, so it's a good time. Come at 6 o'clock, do your hour's worth of recovery.
Love it.
Start the de-stress routine.
Yep.
If you can't do that, then the main ones are really. There's a few things. You mentioned breathing techniques there. A good one is number one would be something we call cognitive unloading. So rather than wait until your head hits the pillow and processing the day's events, planning for the next day, make some time earlier in the day to write down a to-do list for tomorrow. Go through what's happened in the day, like process that stuff like way before bedtime. So when your head hits the pillow, your thoughts aren't racing. Have a notepad in the bedroom, so if you're waking up during the night and your thoughts start racing again, then you've got something to jot the thoughts down on, and then kind of, mentally say to yourself, I'm going to forget about that until tomorrow, like I've written that down. That would be one. Two would be distracting your thoughts. So obviously we've got racing thoughts, and it's going to be more difficult for the brain to switch off. Brain needs to switch off to go to sleep. Doing something like breathing techniques, listening to a podcast, reading. It's harder to have those sort of racing thoughts at the same time. They're therefore easier to switch the brain off.
Makes total sense. Love it. Oh my God.
I mean, that's what just to quickly jump, because obviously, like, we're not like great sleepers either. Well, Pete's a great sleeper, but not,
Sure. Yes, I am.
I'm a man with very few thoughts.
Just one at a time, one thought at a time. So
I struggle with if I wake up in the night, my mind starts racing, and I find it hard to get back to sleep, which a lot of Pete's clients also struggle with the same thing.
Yep.
They
are
wake. Okay to fall asleep, wake up, and then you start getting anxious, and you think,
I'm
awake, I've got to get up, I can't, it's 2 a.m, this isn't enough sleep, and then you start getting really stressed. So what Pete's got me to do now is it's almost like give yourself permission, because I wouldn't even want to open my eyes because I was afraid that if I did that, I'd be even more awake.
Yes, yep.
Not a total nut job.
No, not at all. I totally understand.
You think, at 2 a.m, because you've got such a busy day. And Pete's clients struggle with that. And so Pete sort of said, almost given permission to say, only give yourself 15, 20 minutes to try and fall back asleep. If you don't, you can either read your book or get up and go ideally sit in a chair until you feel sleepy, come back and try again. And do that until you... And it just seemed to take the stress away from...
That's such good advice, man.
And I resisted it to start with, because I was like, he's wrong.
Yeah, if I get up, I'm up.
If I open my eyes,
I'm up.
I'm destroyed.
Yeah.
But then I've been doing it, especially lately with opening the business, my mind just won't switch off. So I'll read a book and I was like, oh, he's right.
Thanks for reminding me of that. Actually, I forgot about that one. Yes. So the other tip is that basically it's about associating the bed with sleep.
Yeah.
That's where people get into a bit of a vicious cycle and become anxious about sleep, where they're in bed, but they're spending hours either trying to fall asleep or they wake up in the middle of the night and they're spending hours trying to get back to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's when sleep becomes stressful, and that's the opposite of what you want.
Oh, it's so true.
So basically leave, the only activities that should be happening in bed are related to Barry White. Reading.
Let's get it on.
Reading or listening to a podcast.
Don't mind if I do. Is that you, George?
With the smoking jacket on and
big peacock feathers out the side. Is that you, dear?
Yeah.
Fucking don't mind if I do. Wow.
Obviously, you got to be mindful of partners and things like that.
Yeah.
You don't want all the lights on either.
Yeah.
That's a big no-no. So either staying in bed and doing that with a dim light on, or ideally getting out of bed and going and sit in a chair a smoking chair in the corner of the room.
Big plush cashmere rug or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, love it, man. Just quickly, any sort of small, I don't know, we've talked about it before. I think when we came to the recovery room, we have a lot of police officers, paramedics, doctors in here, shift workers. Well, I know it's a very complex and a really difficult situation, but if there was one thing a shift worker could probably do, well, I suppose there's one of many, but what's something that could assist the shift workers?
It's similar to what we use for athletes or anyone that's travelling internationally for a major competition.
Jet lag and stuff.
Yeah, so being able to shift their circadian rhythms when they're switching from night shift to day shift, vice versa. So your two main friends there are the timing of light exposure and potentially melatonin use. So they're two things that we could look at using to partially adapt them in between shifts. The other one is fatigue management, so the correct timing of napping, strategic use of caffeine, that kind of stuff.
I remember talking about that. Oh, wow.
So he can do a plan for people around either their training schedules or their shifts as to when to use those things.
See, I love that. And that was going to bring me to my next part, guys. So for those of you police, paramedics, shift workers, so that is part of Pete and Amanda's services. He does literally, you can go and get a plan around sleep management, things like that. And for shift workers and athletes and stuff like that, I couldn't, encourage you more to go and speak to these guys, speak to the experts, get some guidance, get some support, some nurturing around that, because it's such a fucking important part. And anybody that's not sleeping, I reckon they'd totally agree. So important. Got to get that sleep. Guys, where can people find you? So where can they find you on the social platforms and your location? How can some newcomers come and check you guys out?
Yeah.
And wife.
We're at the Sports Hub on Main Drive at Kawana, up on level 1. So as you come up the stairs or up the lift, can't miss us. We're right there. Otherwise, we're on Instagram, recovery __ room. Pete did that one.
It's the only one available.
Yes.
And our website's recovery@thehub.com.au. So
love that. They have heaps of speakers. They've got lots of energy, lots going on. Guys, check them out for sure. It's absolutely awesome. Take my word for it, as an aging, mature athlete, it is the duck's nuts. I highly, highly recommend it, and you've got to check them out. Guys, thank you so much for coming and spending your afternoon with me. Yeah, love it. Love what you do. Major fan, and look forward to hanging out in the future and stuff like that.
Hanging out in the cold pool.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Look forward to listening to some Barry White.
Ruining your surfing career.
I know, man. What am I going to know more tubes?
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome.